Hello, beautiful ones. This is Lorelei from the Tightrope to 5D Music Reactions. And if you don't know what the fifth dimension is, this incoming fifth dimension, or you want to know more about it, stick around to the end because I'm going to give you a special 5D message. And take it from someone who has been forged in the fire of painful third dimensional experiences and come out the other side. You don't want to miss that message. Now today we are looking at the beautiful Vanny Vabiola in I Love You. Let's hear it. It's a Celine Dion song, apparently.
I must be crazy now. Maybe I drink too much. Of you, I long to feel you touch.
Listen to how she just maneuvers her voice around in all these different ways. It's so pretty, it's so soft. Let's hear that from the beginning again. Beautiful.
Much, but when I think of you, I long to feel you touch, to whisper in your ear words that I always thought words only you would hear, if only you were mine. I wish I could go back to the very first day
Pretty the way she does that. Let's hear that beautiful little piece again.
So today I finally find the course deep inside, just a walk right up to your door, that my body can't move. When I finally get to it, just like 1,000 times before. Then without a word, he handed me this letter. Read, I hope this finds the way into your heart. He said, I love you. Please say you love me too.
go back a little. It's so nice.
Please, please, you love me too, till the end of time. My baby love, together, together forever. I love you.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. Oh, good job, Vanny Vabiola. She has a beautiful, beautiful voice. Very, just soft and lyrical. Isn't it so pretty, her voice? So, oh my goodness. So so I've remade my scale, by the way. Well, let me talk about my scale. First of all, that was beautifully done by her. And every song that's about love has a higher vibration, okay? Because love is a very high vibration. In the fifth dimension, that's all there is love. So we know already that this is a very higher vibration song. So, and I've made a new scale here, which is a 1 to 10 scale. So on 1 being very third dimensional, it's going to pull you toward fear and pain and suffering and anxiety and all of that. And the 10 being it's pulling you toward love and peace and bliss and harmony and joy and all of that. And this one's pretty solid up there. Now there's a couple, I'd go like with maybe say around an 8-ish, because there's a couple things that just kind of pull it back a little from be totally fifth dimensional. And one is this concept. I mean, it's so sweet and so beautiful to think of being with someone till the end of time. But that can kind of stick us when you consider we got thousands and thousands of lives that we're living here. So when a person, you come into another life, and that person, you run into that other person in the other life, but that's not, you're not the same person you were in that life, and they're not the same person they were in the other life. And so you're not really a good match. Words mean something. And then when we see someone in another life, we kind of recognize them on a subconscious level. I'm not talking conscious. You kind of get automatically attracted and want and feel like you should be with that person, but there's all this muck and mire that's in the way. That wasn't there when you first said you want to be together forever. So that's a little bit of a trap in our kind of concept of love, and in this song too, that together forever. Forever's a long time. And you know what? In your eternalness of many lives, you experience many loves. We experience many loves, different and different and different and different, right? So it's a now thing. The fifth dimension is a now thing. Joy and the love is happening in the now, right here, right now, okay? So sweet, by the way, how this came out, you know, such a beautiful story. She loves him, and then she's coming up to his door, and he gives her that note that, you know, he loves her too. Isn't that? And so it's beautiful. The other thing, though, that kind of keeps it a little bit less from a full 5D is the kind of, it's a feeling like if I don't have you, I'm not going to be happy. That's the feeling I get out of that song. Like, I need you to be happy. And that's just absolutely untrue. We don't need anybody. We could be totally deliriously happy just from tapping into the love of the Creator and the love of the higher beings, like massive and massive, massive amounts of love. We don't need a single other being, right? I mean, it's great when we get together with someone that we love, you know, as a male-female thing. It's wonderful as long as it doesn't pull us backwards, which some do, right? Nope, if it's up there at the same level and vibration in the same, you know, same kind of height that we're at, and tapping into that, both are tapping into that divine love as well, then that's a beautiful thing. But you don't have to have it. You can be totally deliriously happy without that, and I'm proof of that. I'm in so much joy, right? I don't want anybody pulling me backward, which has happened to me in the past. So that's why I'm going like an 8. It's very high still. It makes you feel good. It uplifts you. It makes you, it's pretty. It's beautiful. The sound of it just hits the cells of your body and relaxes you and makes you feel good, you know? So very high still. I'm giving that a solid 8. Okay, so by the way, if you want to know a little bit about me and what the things I'm up to, that might be of interest to you, by the way, you can go to my description on YouTube and drop down to the About Lorelei on Patreon. That one is where you can see it all. And I've also got a video here which tells you a little bit about what I'm up to. It's just 3 minutes, but if you follow to the other link, you're going to find a longer video that tells you about that journey I've spoken about, that Forged in the Fire journey. So if you're interested, go check that out. So now my message today is, what are timelines? What in the world are timelines? So in my circles, we talk a lot about timelines. I'm on another timeline. I was on a different timeline, et cetera, et cetera. And what does this concept mean? I don't know if you've heard it or not, but you will hear it if you stick around and you talk about this fifth dimensional thing, this coming fifth dimensional consciousness. More and more, you're going to hear that term timelines. Now, for those of you who are just coming in cold, what we're talking about is the consciousness shift that we've been in so many thousands of years. We've been in the third dimensional fear, pain, suffering consciousness, and moving over to the love, joy, peace, bliss consciousness of the fifth dimension. So we're talking about that shift, and I give a message in every video. So if you want to string the whole idea of what I'm trying to tell you together, go look at the other videos and the other messages. So in this world of we're moving from the third dimensional to the fifth dimensional consciousness, they have this thing that we call timelines. And what does a timeline sort of mean? Now, I think I can best describe this if I really just give you a concrete example from our world. About 2020, we were on a certain timeline. We were on a certain path. We were going in a certain direction. There was a certain probable future for us, okay? In 2020, when we were being told we had to lock down and stay in our houses and stop doing our business and survive however we could and jab this, thing in your arm over and over and over and over again, okay? And people were wanting us to wear, you couldn't go anywhere if you didn't wear a mask, and you weren't allowed to say certain things online. Everybody's watching what you said over and again online, and people were looking to see, were you wearing your mask? Was it down over your, was it under your nose or up? I didn't do any of that, by the way. I forged through and, and suffered the strings and arrows of the folks who would come at me, because I knew it was not healthy for a human being to be wearing a mask over their face. And I knew that we don't get any sickness if we just raise our frequency and vibration. And I was pretty high vibration already then, and I'm even higher now. So I knew how to keep myself healthy and well. And I knew I wasn't going to get any sickness. And I knew how to cure myself naturally if I did ever get a sickness without harming myself and putting an arguably dangerous DNA altering thing in my arm. So, so at that time, what was the path that we were on? What was the timeline? Well, at that point, it was looking like our country and arguably a lot of humanity was heading into control. The dominant powers are going to control everything that you think, everything that you say. They're going to make you do this. They're going to make you do that. They're going to even control what you actually do with your body. They're going to they're going to watch over you. They're going to watch what you say. They're going to stop you saying certain things. They're going to put you in jail if you argue with them. That was happening, when with the January situation, right? Because if you look, there was nothing anywhere near the violence there that was going on in, for instance, any one of these recent happenings with things being set on fire and the ANTIFA and the BLM and all that. All of those were way, way, way more violent than anything that we saw during that day. So you're going to take those people and stick them in jail. Anybody who's a dissenter, you're going to jail. And that was the timeline we were on. We were really looking almost like we were marching toward a kind of communist or a dictatorship, communist regime, something like that. Fast forward, though, we pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps, right? We said, no, we are not going to do this, right? We're not going to have all these people flooding into their country that are harming people and everything else. And we pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps and we switched over. We're going to be on this timeline. Our future now is a future of abundance, of economic security. It's a future of having people safe. It's a future of having women safe. They can go to restrooms and they can play whatever their sport of choice is, and they can be safe. It's a future of being able to say what we want and being able to speak our truth and not having somebody clamp down on us. It's a future of, you're not going to put us in jail. You're going to have to actually prove some actual crime before actually putting us in jail. It's a future of having judges that do the right thing, of having juries that do the right thing. It's a future of collapsing down all the dirtiness that has happened. You see, there are these two futures. Now, if you look at your own life, you can see there's different places where you've been on certain timelines. When I was in my marriage with my beloved husband, but that had an addiction problem, there was a future there that was not looking really good if I stayed on that path. But I pulled myself up by my bootstraps and said, no, that's not my future. And I went over this way. And I said, he has his future. I have my future with my children. I want them to have a better future. So I pulled up and went over to this timeline and said, this is the way we're going. And, I taught them all the things that they needed to know that would hopefully have them be self-actualized, having self-esteem, having self-confidence, and all of that. The stuff that I hadn't gotten, I first learned and then taught back to them to the best extent possible. So I changed that timeline. You can look at your life and you can see where you have various, kinds of timelines that are, you were on one path, it wasn't a good one, you shifted and you went to a better one. Now, the good thing about where we're on now is we shifted from a timeline which was about staying stuck in third dimensional fear, pain, suffering, all of that, over to a timeline that's about going to the fifth dimension. You see, it's light and love, and we're reaching for it. Not everything we do is perfect, by the way. Not everything our government does is perfect. Not everything the administration that's in does is perfect. But it's reaching toward a possibility, which is a higher possibility. For instance, when the administration comes out and they say everybody's going to be healthy, everybody's going to be happy, they're talking about what is known, which is the med beds, the quantum healing technology that is coming out and going to be given out to the entire population as soon as it's possible, as soon as the ones who would take that process down, the dirty ones, the dark ones, are gotten out of the way. They're talking about that even as they say that. And they're talking also about how they're taking out the harmful things in our food and in our environment. They're starting to do that process, and they're talking about that. So there's a lot. They're talking about economic freedom, getting rid of the IRS, and also doing something very drastically different with the Federal Reserve. Maybe even canning it all together. That would be a good idea in my point of view, but who knows? But they're talking about doing something about the way that finances happen in our country, in our world. So this is like a whole nother timeline, it's like about abundance. So we are on a totally different timeline. And if you consider, looking at your life now, what timeline are you on? What direction are you going? And if you're not going in the direction you want to go, whether it's toward having, toward fifth dimension, in other words, being able to be in fun and peace and joy and love and light more and more and more often, or having the job of your dreams or having the relationship of your dreams, if you're not on that timeline, then it's time to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and turn. Okay, that's all I have to say here about timelines, but I'm going to send you that beautiful love, that beautiful fifth dimensional energy, the peace, the joy, the love, the bliss, the abundance, the harmony, the brotherhood, all coming at you now. Namaste. I honor the God in you. How we love you, how we love you, how we love you, how we love you.